Father, I just pray for the next few moments as we open up your word. I pray that you teach us something. We can understand our next step in our faith journey that we should make as we're trying to follow you, live for you, and be a light for this world. God, it's in your name we pray. Amen. So in this story that I had you open up to, what's going to happen is there is this man who was born blind, and Jesus is actually going to restore his sight. It's going to be a miracle that we read about, and I'm excited for you all to hear it. We're in John chapter 9, starting in verse 1. It says, "As Jesus was walking along, he saw a man who had been blind from his birth. Rabbi," his disciples asked him, "why was this man born blind? Was it because of his own sins or his parents' sins?" So there's this man, he cannot see, and the disciples start talking about him. They start saying, is the reason he's blind because he did some type of sin or because of his parents' sins? Back in that culture, they thought that that's why maybe God made you be born blind because of something that you had done. And that's not accurate, but that's what they thought back in this culture. We see a man in need, and we see the disciples talking about him. That's all they're doing. They're not offering any help. All they're doing is pointing at the man, and they're talking about the man. But we see Jesus stepping into the situation to actually help the man. It says this in verse 3. "It was not because of his sins or his parents' sins," Jesus answered. "This happened so the power of God could be seen in him. We must quickly carry out the tasks assigned us by the one who sent us. The night is coming, and then no one can work, but while I am here in the world, I am the light of the world." Here's what Jesus is trying to say. He's saying that man, it's not because of his sins or anything, but this is a man in need. And while I am here living in this world, I'm going to be the light of the world. And what that means is I'm going to go out and I'm actually going to help people. Because you know what most people in this world do? They just talk about the people that are hurting. They just talk about the people that are in need. Most people in this world don't offer any help. And Jesus says, that's not why I'm here. I'm here to show you an example of how you're supposed to respond whenever you come across people that are in need. So he's going to show that to us right here in verse 6. It says, "Then Jesus spit on the ground, and then he made mud with the saliva, and then he spread the mud over the blind man's eyes. He told him, 'Go wash yourself in the pool of Siloam.' So the man went and washed and came back seeing." It's a miracle of Jesus healing him in kind of a weird way, right? Like, Jesus hawks a loogie, he spits it on the ground, he makes mud out of it, and then he rubs it on the guy's eyes. And then the guy is actually able to see again. If I had more time, I would give you some reasons why Jesus healed in such a weird, gross way. I don't really have time for that. If you're interested, you can ask me afterward. But the main point of reading that this morning is to see that Jesus saw a man in need and he helped him. He didn't talk about him like the disciples. And my question for you is, who are you more like in the story? Are you more like the disciples that whenever you see people in need, all you do is talk? You don't offer any help. Or are you more like Jesus in the story that actually helps the man, helps the person in need? I know if I'm being honest, I'm oftentimes like the disciples. Here's what I do. I forget, I ignore, and I judge those that are in need. And that's the first fill in the blank. You can write that in. Many times we forget, we ignore, and we judge those in need. There are people in need all around us. There's people around the world that need more food. There's homeless people that need us to love them. But then there's people that we interact with every single day in our schools, in our families, on our sports teams that are in need of help. Maybe there's financial help. Maybe they need help academically. Maybe relationally. Maybe there's some type of emotional need. We are constantly surrounded by people in need, and I know that because all of you at some point in your life are struggling. You're in need. You need help. And maybe that's you right now in your life. We always need help. There's always people around us that need help. But oftentimes we ignore them, we forget about them, and we judge them. We say, well, they deserve to be in that situation. Or we're so consumed with our life that we care all about ourselves, we don't think about caring about others. But here's what we notice about God. You can write this down. But God sees, knows, and loves them. You can throw that up. Jesus knows, sees, and loves them. He knows the people in need. He actually sees them when they're in need, and he loves them. Despite anything they had done, he's willing to actually help. He's not like us that we judge people and say, well, that's what they deserve. All of us in this room deserve separation from Jesus. We all deserved an eternal destiny in hell because of the things that we had done, our sins. But Jesus said, despite that, I'm coming down. I'm helping people in need. I'm laying down my life for you. So in the last fill in the blank, it's kind of obvious, but when we pursue helping those in need, we are being like Jesus. And that's what we're trying to do, right? We're trying to be like him. Now, the reality is when we first read stories, here's what I want you to realize. Whenever you read stories about Jesus, the first thing you should not do is be like, or the first thing you shouldn't do is say, how can I be like Jesus in the story? You should get to that eventually, but at first you should identify yourself as the person in need in the story. Because let me tell you, we are the blind man in the story. We are the one that was in need of Jesus to step into our situation and to heal us, to help us. You are the blind man in the story, and Jesus offered help, and he heals us. But then after that, you could be like, okay, well, that's great. How can I be like Jesus, though? And we see Jesus helps those in need. So we are called to help those in need. So I want you to think through the people in your life. How can I help them? Maybe they're a friend of yours. Maybe they're even an enemy of yours. But as a Christian, if you want to be a light of this world, you are going to help. It's awesome, though, because sometimes we don't know how to help, but we offer this thing called Starve and Serve that provides you an opportunity to help those in need. Starve and Serve is something that we've been doing here in junior high for many, 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 many years, and it's a way to equip you to help those that are in need. What we're going to ask every person in this room, no matter how long you've been coming here to J878, maybe this is your first day that you've ever been here. Maybe you're not even a Christian, you're just checking it out. If that is you, we want you to even participate in this amazing event called Starve and Serve. We're going to ask you for the next month to go out, ask your friends and ask your family and the people in your life to sponsor you. We're going to ask you to raise money. And the money that you raise over the next month is going to be donated to some awesome organizations. But then after you raise money for a month, we're going to ask all of you in this room to actually give up food, to go without food for 27 hours. You're only going to be allowed to have water and juice and gum if you don't swallow it during those 27 hours. And you might say, I'm not doing that. Why are you asking me to do that? Well, because the reality is there are millions of people around this world that go 27 hours without food, and then another 27, and then another 27, and then they die because of starvation. And Starve and Serve fights against world hunger. You see, one of the main organizations that we're supporting is an organization that's called Outside the Bowl. And what they do is they look for impoverished people around the world and communities, and they provide food for them, but they also provide the gospel to them. So they're being fed on the inside, but they're also being fed, you're being fed spiritually through the word of God. And you giving up food for 27 hours, you're going to make an impact, and you're going to also learn empathy. And that's why we are doing this. There's a lot of details to this event. I'm going to spend just the next 10 minutes talking about them. But I just encourage you, come this week to TNL, come the next few weeks. We're going to show you more and more videos that tell you more about it. But I want to spend the next 4 minutes right now showing you one video. This video is one that if you're an 8th grader, we showed it to you last year when we talked about Starve and Serve. But it's just a great reminder for those that have seen it. And if you don't know anything about it, this is going to give you a lot of info about Starve and Serve. Couple things to know about it as they pull it up behind me. First off, this video was actually made for other pastors. This video was made for Outside the Bowl to try to convince other pastors to do Starve to Serve. So there's going to be some lingo in here where they say, we provide you with materials to help you out. That part isn't really for you. That's speaking to the pastors this video is meant for. Also, this video was made right after COVID here at the church, so a lot of people are wearing masks in the video. So when we do our big sleepover event I haven't told you about, you don't have to wear a mask during it. And then the third thing is he's going to say in the video it's a 30-hour fast. We just do 27 hours. There's a reason why. I can tell you later. It used to be 30, so it used to be harder. Now we do 27 hours. Take a look at this 4-minute video, and then I'll be right back up afterward to talk about the rest of the fill in the blanks.
The students, honestly, with all the fun events we do, this is the one they ask me for all the time. They say, when are we doing Starving to Serve? When is Starving to Serve? I need to make sure I'm at Starving to Serve, because it moved something in them to say, I've never felt that before.
Starving to Serve is a 5-week youth ministry program where students learn about child hunger in our world, and they find sponsors to support a 30-hour fast, ending in a fun-filled all-night event.
I take for granted how I can just eat every day, no problem. And I've kind of grown more of an appreciation for the people who actually are living this way.
There's so many people that struggle with it, and to try to make a difference, it'd be insane, just try to have that ounce of difference.
We're so blessed in this country, and so we are kind of called to bless other people. I think it's just a really cool experience to know that what you're doing can actually help someone else.
Outside the Bowl is a nonprofit organization that amplifies local ministries and churches around the world by providing nutritious and affordable food resources for their kids. We've seen firsthand how full bellies open up kids' hearts to receive the gospel of Jesus Christ.
When can you partner something fun with something biblical and impactful? And that's Starving to Serve. It's something you should look into do or should do, because it's pretty powerful. It really is.
I think it's an easy win. I really do. The way that Starving to Serve is structured, it's been done so many times before that you're not starting on your own and being told, hey, you gotta raise money here, and you go, I don't know what to do. This thing has been done before many, many, many times to show you this is how it works, and to show that this does work. It is an easy event for students and for leaders and for pastors to put together. It's a fun event. Oh man, it's so much fun. And it does have a local, but also a global impact for kids.
We at Outside the Bowl come alongside existing youth ministry programs with Starving to Serve. We offer presentation materials, fundraising tips, event planning resources, multimedia, and even coaching from experienced youth leaders to help you scale and run this event for your students.
They're not out there just to fight physical hunger, which is an incredible thing, and I think the Bible asks us to do that. But if we're just feeding the body, it's worthless if they don't know Jesus. So I think that's what's so important about Outside the Bowl, is they don't just care about the physical self, but they care about the spiritual self as well. That's why I'm sold on Outside the Bowl, and I think that's why they're definitely worthy to support.
1000% I would do it again. I love raising money, and I love helping people in need, and getting to do this whole experience, and knowing the money's gonna go somewhere great and it's going to feed so many children. Oh my gosh, it just makes me so happy. Me being able to help just makes everything better.
I'd definitely do it again and again and again. I'd even sign up to be a leader in junior high to do it again.
There's plenty of places out there that can feed children, feed people. There's very few of those places that say with every bowl, with every meal, here's where the gospel comes in. Here's where discipleship comes in. And that's what I've loved about Outside the Bowl. Starving to Serve now puts it in the hands of my kids. So my 3 kids have gone through it, and allows them to see and understand, wow, we can make a difference in the world today.
All right, I hope that helped you know a little bit more about it. With the remainder of our time, let's go through the fill in the blanks, and this is really going to help you with the next steps if you want to participate in this. So number one, step one is get the permission slip signed. So right after service, if you want to participate, you are going to rush to the very back to where you checked in, and you're going to grab this permission slip. The reason why you need to get this signed is basically your parents are saying it's okay that you're going to go without food for 27 hours. This permission slip, just so you know, especially you 8th graders, is a little different than last year. You want to get this in by March 7th if you want to get your Starving to Serve t-shirt the night of our sleepover event. If you get it in on time, we're going to order it, and you can actually get it that night. Last year, you couldn't get it till like 2 months later. So if you get it in by March 7th, you will actually get your shirt then. If you forget and you procrastinate and you turn it in later, you can still participate in the event, but you might not get your shirt that night. After service, you can go turn it in or get it signed, bring it back to us. You can get your packet today. That is actually step 2. So write this down. Step 2, trade it in for a sponsor packet. So once you get this signed, you give it to us. It could be today. It could be Tuesday. It could be in 2 weeks from now. You give this to us, and we are going to give you this sponsor packet right here, okay? This is very valuable because you're going to collect all the money that you raise for Starving to Serve in this. It's cash and it's check that you're going to put in here. You're going to write your name on the top. You're going to circle some things that are important to know about you. And then all these fill in the blanks, see these blank lines right here? This is where you can write whoever donates money, you can just write their name and write how much they gave to you. If you mess this up, it's okay. This is to help you as you are raising your money, keep track of how much you raised. All the money goes in here. Inside of this, we gave you 3 of them. There's these little pieces of paper that are called cash receipts. If someone ever gives you cash, you have to ask them if they want a cash receipt. Most are going to say no. That's why we only gave you 3. But if they say, yes, I would love one, you give this to them. You do not collect it back. They keep it. You never have to see this again. You honestly don't even really have to know what this is. It's for tax purposes. They keep it. If they give you a check, you don't offer that because North Coast will provide a tax statement at the end of the year that shows that they gave to it. That's only if they gave cash. This is very, very, very important. When we give you this, we're also going to give you this tan piece of paper right here that is going to give you all the details about the event. It's going to tell you when the event is, when we're starving. It's going to talk about the prizes that you will win based off how much you raise, which I'll talk about in a second. You have to raise at least $50 to be invited to the sleepover event. That's getting $10 from 5 people, and then you're good to go, okay? The sleepover event is Friday, March 24th. That is when you're going to turn this back in to us that night. You have to raise $50, and if you turn your permission slip in on time, you will get a Starving to Serve t-shirt that night. Now, let me talk about some of the other prizes. $50, you're invited to the sleepover, and you get your t-shirt. $500, you are going to get a Starving to Serve sweatshirt. Some of you are like, that's a lot of money, but most junior hires, they are motivated, they want to make a difference, and they raise a lot, and they get to the $500. This is a new thing we're doing. If you raise $750, which is a lot, we're not judging you if you don't get that much, but if you really want to try, that's pretty awesome. If you raise $750, that's when you'll get Starving to Serve stickers, but you'll also be entered into an exclusive raffle that we do the night of our sleepover event, where we'll have probably Nikes in there, we'll have AirPods, we'll have different things that we raffle off. You'll have a guaranteed prize that you win that night just by raising $750. If you raise $5,000, which let me tell you, this has never been done until the last 2 years. We've done this for like 20 years. It's never been done until the last 2, okay? So $5,000 is really hard. But if you get to $5,000, then we will buy you In-N-Out every week for a whole year, okay? So we'll probably give you like a $350 gift card to In-N-Out. That's about 1 meal at In-N-Out every single week, okay? So most people here are not going to get $5,000, but hey, if you do, we'll buy you In-N-Out for a whole year. If you raise the most out of anyone doing this, which I didn't tell you this, it's not just Vista campus. Every campus, we have 8 campuses at North Coast Church. They're all coming here for the sleepover event, okay? There's going to be like 400 people here sleeping over for it. If you raise the most, you will win an iPad. And then on top of that, we just do a fun little competition. You'll win a pizza party if you're the ministry that raises the most money. Vista Campus is bigger than all the other campuses, so we split up into our 4 mid-groups. But if one of your mid-groups raises the most out of anyone doing this, then you will win a pizza party at a TNL that we do. Okay? So there's incentives. I forget who won the pizza party last year. I think it was the 8th grade girls from last year. So they're currently freshmen now from the Vista campus, won the pizza party last year. Okay? Oh, the 7th grade? Oh, so the current 8th grade girls. They were 7th grade last year. Okay. So step number 3, before we get to the sleepover, though, you have to raise money. So number 3 is start fundraising. Write that down. Start fundraising. This is what you're doing over the next month. You're asking anyone you know if they will sponsor you for Starving to Serve. You are not allowed to ask people at the church, though, until the weekend before the event. I think it's March 18th and 19th. You're going to want to be here that weekend because we're going to end junior high service early. We're going to go down in the plaza, and once church gets out, we're going to just ask all the adults right afterward, okay? The adults will know we're asking them, but that's the weekend we literally just have like old grandmas be like, here's a $200 check, and they give it to you, okay? So you're going to want to be there that weekend, okay? But you're not allowed to ask anyone at the church until that weekend because we don't want to be a church where we're just asking people for money all the time. So the church said this is the one weekend you are allowed to ask. So ask everyone else in your life, just not people at church until that weekend. When we give you this piece of paper, on the back of it, we are giving you some advice on how to ask for money. Read through all of that. It's really going to help you out. One piece of advice that we're going to give you is if someone ever says, I would love to support you, how much should I give? We train you to ask for $100. You say, hey, whatever you want to give me would be amazing, but $100 would be awesome. And we ask you to ask big because they're probably not going to give you $100, but they were thinking about giving you $2 or $3 out of their purse or their wallet. So now maybe they'll give you like a $20 bill because you asked for $100, okay? Just this little mind trick that sometimes works. Sometimes it doesn't, but you may as well try it, okay? So next thing is this, all right? Number 4, write this down, is turn it in at the celebration. All right, everyone, listen up. The celebration, it's a sleepover event, is March 24th. However, let me tell you about the 23rd. On Thursday, March 23rd, at 6 o'clock p.m., that is when you are going to stop eating, okay? Before that, we're having a huge barbecue, just the Vista campus up at the church. If you want to spend $5 and join our staff and students for a barbecue feast for your Last Supper, then you can join us. But if you're like, I'd rather In-N-Out or Panda or whatever, you can go eat that. But if you want to come eat with us, you're invited. Then at 6 o'clock, you're going to stop eating. Ask me afterward, okay? I got to get through some of this. At 6 o'clock, you're going to stop eating. You're going to go home and not eat dessert that Thursday night. You're going to wake up on Friday and not eat breakfast. You're not going to eat lunch at school. You're going to get home. You're not going to eat a snack afterward. You're going to show up to the church at 6 o'clock on that Friday. We're going to have a lot of fun. We're going to be doing worship. We're going to be doing games. We're going to be playing Predator. We're going to do an air band competition, a lot of things. But at 9 o'clock, when 27 hours hits, we're going to have a huge burrito feast where you're going to have as much pollo asado and carne asada as you want to eat that night when the 27 hours is up, okay? That is when you will turn your money in that night, and it'll be a lot of fun. Couple reminders, and I'm almost done. While you are starving, you are only allowed to have water, and you are only allowed to have juice. Don't ask me right now if something counts as juice. Ask me afterward because I got to get through this because of the baptisms. Juice means anything that ends in juice. Apple juice, orange juice, that's juice. You can have gum if you don't swallow the gum, okay? And that's all you can have. So, with all of that said, my hope is that all of you in this room want to participate. My hope is that you want to make impact. Yes, you're a junior higher, but you can make a dramatic difference in this world and in our communities. And then second of all is I hope that you want to learn empathy and see what so many people around the world go through. We're going to go 27 hours without food, and then we can eat. We don't have to pass away like so many people in this world do, and we want to help fight that. That's why we want us to participate. Last fill in the blank is this. is how can I start caring about those in need? Ask yourself that question. This is one way to help those in need. But if you say, no, I'm not doing that, well, as a Christian, you're still supposed to help those in need, so think of ways you can do that. Father, thank you for the junior hires here this morning. God, stir in our hearts a desire to want to serve those that need help. God, I pray that Starving to Serve makes an incredible impact this year. It blesses the nonprofits that we're supporting. It does amazing things for the kingdom of God. It's in your name.